Wet. Your sock is all soaked and wet.
Oh, what an assault.
Fuck you up. Say my mom again, bro. Say my mom again. Say my mom again, bro. Say my mom again. Say it again, bro. Say it again. Get the fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. Wait.
Are you serious right now?
Let's go.
Don't you touch me. Don't you put hands on me. This is a lawsuit, sir.
Okay.
Everybody see what's happening? Look at this.
Quit touching my penis! Quit touching my penis! Quit touching my penis! It's not. It's called a public easement. Quit trying to fucking bully me. I know my rights.
Stop. Come on. You're like an old man, and I'm an old man. Sir, that's not nice of you, sir. That's not nice of you.
It's a First Amendment right violation. I'm a press.
No, you wanted to stand there and hold your cell phone in my face is what you wanted to do. Yes, you do. Take your cell phone and go and make your complaint, okay? Okay.
Those are my fucking court records on the floor.
Get this off my wrist!
She has a broken back, by the way, too.
I think that me wanting to know where to find you has anything to do with YouTube. You're sadly mistaken. Your name is going on the lawsuit.
Come at me, bro. Come at me. I mean, seriously, guys, like, for those of you that don't know, Friday we were supposed to have fun. We were going to laugh. We were going to have a great time. But then for public safety, wanted to come at my people. And I don't play like that. I don't play like that. Then they wanted to do a rebuttal stream to the stream that I did. And they showed how just idiots they are by not being able to understand simple sentences, simple phrases. At the end of the day, guys, people believe what they want to believe. People say what they want to say, and people get attention whatever which way. And, you know, all his people, oh, well, Will's afraid to come on panel. Will's afraid. First of all, y'all stream at 11 o'clock at night, my time. I'm in bed. I'm tired, okay? Stream at a decent hour, and then maybe I'll come on panel with you and let you yell at me. But we're here, as the title of this video, here we go again. So, we're going to forget about Friday, and we're here to have fun. So how is everyone on this lovely day? Today is Mother's Day. If you celebrate Mother's Day, I hope you enjoy it. If you don't, that's okay too. My personal opinion is there shouldn't be anything called Mother's Day. There shouldn't be anything called Father's Day. Every day should be Mother's Day. Every day should be Father's Day. Do you think I just wait for these holidays to buy my mom flowers? I buy my mother flowers every week. Every week. But it is what it is. Hey, look, you guys are saying it. You guys are saying it. I have an actual job. It was so funny that they were like, oh, Will says he works in a law firm, but he just buys coffee for people. What? What? Sure. Anyway, let's see who's here. We're not going to be here for that long, guys. I wanted to touch base with you guys. We do have a premiere in about 5 hours. That's a good one. So hopefully we'll see everybody back then. But let's see who is here. Jason Gutterman, Jason. Oh, Jesus. Man. I can't even try. But welcome, David. Adela J. Did someone say Jason Gutterman? He tried to. He tried to. Was just watching a CHILLE update. Apparently, he thinks he's getting out in July, and his newest appeal is written by a lawyer who was stoned. Oh, we'll get to that. We're going to get to that for sure. Essington, Hennessy, greetings. Greetings to you. Thanks for coming. Nerd Girl, Jen's World. Party people. We're going to try. Cool Clearwater is here. Howdy, this Florida Romania. How is your knee? Thank you, sir. My knee is better. I'm off crutches. I have a good knee brace on. The brace that I had wasn't all that good, so I bought one from an actual orthopedic store. Not the original one was from an orthopedic store, but this one was from designed specifically for the problem I'm having with my knee, and it's helped tremendously, so I can walk on my own power. But thank you. Still hurts like crap, but it is what it is. Lovely Ray is here. Good morning, Ray. Thank you for coming. Happy to see you here. Freud Terminator is here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Blackheart Knight. Great to see you, buddy. We are here. We are alive, and we are well. Oh, we talked to you. Oh, but that's interesting. As someone who worked construction for 25 years, I can tell y'all Chrissy is no contractor, evidenced by the state of his home showcase and the damaged camera picture. Here's the thing. I don't, and you know, some of my best streams are covering for public safety, but I really don't follow him like that. So I don't even know what damaged camera picture you're referring to. But I believe you. I believe it. I believe it. Society Red is here. Welcome. Addressing the lot drop. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. This is the same. Are you the same? Wait. Is this the same person? This is Ray. Is that you? I'm confused. I'm confused. I'm confused. Addressing the Llamas is here. Welcome. Patrick Gallagher is here. What's up, Patrick? Skinny Green Puppies. Welcome. Gorilla Glue is here. Great to see you. See anybody else here? Just making sure I say hello to everyone I haven't already. Bookworm, I don't know if I think I said hello to you. Did I say hello? Well, you get hello again if I didn't. Mr. Thomas, did you get drunk off your chocolate milk? You know what? You're just going based off that. You're just going based off that stupid video Joe did. Oh my God. Joe's video, apparently. Hey, look, you know, people say I'm the worst YouTube channel on the internet, but apparently a channel has now made a weekly series about me. So whatever. Joyce Page. Welcome, Joyce. Great to see you as always. Victoria B is here. Great to see you. Anya Meadows is here. Welcome, welcome. Right, I was so confused. Now I understand. I'm sorry. I was so confused for a second. I was like, oh no, we have got your sippy cups. Are you talking about the merch? Because as you guys see, who are you? Who are you? Drop what link? Here, you want a link? Here. Hold on. You want a link? I got a link for you right here. Give me 1 second, guys. Because, guys, we have merch. We absolutely have merch. And the newest piece of merch that I have created we have created some form of a sippy cup. Now, look, the merch store that I use, they don't make sippy cups. Their cups are very limited. They are going to come out with like a summer thermos thing, but it's not going to be available until June. Maybe then I can try something. But I do have a sippy cup, quote unquote, available. Now, you guys told me to put something together and you would buy it, but no one's bought it just yet, at least last time I checked. So if you guys wanna go for it. Go for it. Okay, so yeah. So what are we? I'm losing my voice. Excuse me. So what? Who even are you? Drop what link? I just dropped here. Here's the link. That's the link. That's the link right here. The link is right there. Can you read? It's right there. I dropped the link. Go buy my sippy cup. All right, guys. So what are we going to talk about today? So, of course, this whole Chile DeCastro thing is just completely. It's mind-numbing how something so simple and so stupid has escalated to the point that it's at right now. Now, as you guys know, Chile is, you know, these phone calls and with all this nonsense. It's like Chile is just digging a bigger hole for himself and his lawyer as well. is making a fool of himself. We're going to watch a video. I've never watched this channel before, but I have heard of him recently. Patrick J. Darcy, who is an attorney who is going to go over Chile DeCastro's appellate brief. Now, I saw bits and pieces of this, and I said I'd rather watch this actually with you guys, and we can kind of go through it. Now, it's funny because people are quick to say, "Oh, Will says he's an attorney. Will says he's a lawyer. Will is a liar." I am not a lawyer. I have never been a lawyer. I am nowhere near being a lawyer. But I understand a lot of what he's saying. But here is a real lawyer. Let's let it go. Okay, first of all, and Ray, if you're still here, could you please drop a link to his channel, please, Patrick Darcy, please? If you have it, please. That would be very helpful. Thank you. And you, I don't just drop StreamYard links for random strangers on the internet. You tell me who you are. You email me, and if you're someone I know or someone that's willing to talk, it's fine. But no trolls. No trolls. So let's have a look and let's see how this attorney breaks down this brief that was filed by his attorney. Like Chile DeCastro's attorney.
Brief that he filed, or his lawyer filed. I want you to see this brief. Now, I'm not saying there's malpractice. I'm not saying you did a bad job. So please, I'm just getting that out there. I also want to show you the rules for appellate procedure in Nevada. And again, I'm a California lawyer, not a Nevada lawyer. So I'm not giving Nevada legal advice, just my perception as a lawyer that handles appeals and First Amendment issues. By the way, one of the comments in my video yesterday was, he's not a First Amendment lawyer. Yeah, defamation is First Amendment. So please understand that. When you defame somebody, you're making speech. And when you make speech, it is First Amendment. Okay, whatever. So let's take a look at this. This is the rule for criminal procedure appeals. 3C is the fast track rule. Now, here are some of the rules that are required when you do a fast track appeal. It's limited to 16 pages in length. Wow. Well, what I saw was 31 pages. It also has a like it does here in California. It has a limit on word count because this is the way to prevent people from filing 31-page briefs. It looks to
so understand. Every state is different. Not every state, not every county allows fast track filings. Not every jurisdiction allows that. Just so happens, Chile in Nevada is allowed to do so. But of course, there are rules, there are limits. The right is not unfettered. Now, he's going to go into detail about the timing and the length. But it's important to note, when you're, depending on the state that you're in and the jurisdiction that you're in, it's all about the rules. You have to follow the rules to a T. If you don't follow the rules, you're risking that your entire argument falls on its face simply because the rules were not followed. So keep that in mind.
To me, that this is a non-compliant brief for several reasons. Example, how does this court have jurisdiction? Because if they don't have jurisdiction, they can't render a decision. And so you would say the court has jurisdiction under Nevada rule such and such because this is an appeal of a criminal conviction in the justice court. Bang, one sentence. The statement of the case and procedural history. So they want a concise review of what happened in the case. And then a concise statement summarizing all facts, material, and consideration of issues on appeal. You better not miss something. So here I noticed that the appellate brief was 31 pages. I calculated the filing deadline and it was right. This is missing. I didn't see that specifically as a heading with that question answered. An outline of the alleged errors of the district court, or in this case, it would be the justice court because you're appealing to the district court. I didn't see that.
Hold on. This person's a troll. I'm not suing anyone. Stanley comes here and harasses me. I told Stanley, if you don't want to be mentioned in my stream, stop showing up. Stop harassing me. So no one is still suing Stanley. I don't know where that even comes from.
And then a statement describing how the alleged issues on appeal were preserved during trial. This is the invited error or waiver that we see here in California, which obviously I think is going to apply in Nevada as well. You know, if you don't object to something, then it's usually waived. There are, of course, always limited exceptions to the failure to object. But the bottom line is that when you see a judge sitting on the bench, the judge is an umpire, but in baseball, the umpire calls balls and strikes automatically. In a trial, that's not how it happens. The umpire only makes a decision when you ask the umpire to make a decision.
So that's actually crucial, because one of the things that they teach you in law school, people say, I don't know anything about it. I know a little something. But when it comes to objections, as the attorney stated, let's just say hypothetically, it's a murder case. There's a lawyer that's representing the state and a lawyer defending the accused murderer, right? If the prosecuting attorney doesn't ask the right questions, the judge can't step in, or the judge can, but the judge 9 times out of 10 won't step in and say, hey, did you ask that question? Did you do it that way? So that's an interesting point that, hey, look, lawyers need to be on top of the rules itself, because if the rules aren't complied with and the opposing attorney doesn't object, then the judge, his hands are tied. So if the rules were not followed with this brief being filed and the other side didn't object, then CHILLE, quite frankly, might just get away with it. He might.
I took his brief and then I converted it into Word so I could type on it, and then converted it back to PDF. So, of course, it doesn't really look like this. Ways of communicating that are effective and ineffective. And you can't always avoid these. You just don't want to rely on them too much. Passive voice usually puts people to sleep. Starts to sound robotic, and robots do not persuade. Was, had, have, would. Those words, you know, sometimes you just can't avoid using them. They're the most direct way to say something, but you tend to want to avoid using them too much. The verb was cited, see, I used it 84 times. Had, have, would. And then I noticed there's a curious sentence structure that keeps repeating itself. And the more that the sentence structure resumes a cadence, the less persuasive it becomes. Glick, but it's not from this circuit, which I find puzzling. You want Ninth Circuit authority, not First Circuit. Clearly is a word that you want to avoid using except in very obvious situations, because clearly is telling the judge or the justice how to think. More persuasive arguments include suggestions about what the outcome should be. And some of this.
And I would just add, the word clearly it states an opinion. Using the word clearly says to the other person, hey, in my opinion, it's clear. When in reality, for the other party, it might not be clear. So using the word clearly, I agree. It's not a strong word to use in any really legal documentation.
Didn't come out too well because it got converted over on top of converted. But I don't like capitalized words in the middle of sentences because it starts to look like a ransom note, a la Dirty Harry. And procedural history was required. If you this is what I just briefly wrote in a matter of minutes, but this brief has a wind up. I don't like wind ups. You know, if you ask somebody what happened and they start from the beginning, and by the time they get to the end, you're kind of wondering what it was they were talking about. Appellant Jose DeCastro was charged with 2, and he likes to do this. He puts the number right after the in parentheses. He'll do that repeatedly. You don't need to do that. And it says obstructing a public law. These things would be in quotations while filming a traffic stop. It says Mr. DeCastro appeared for an arraignment. Trial began. Judgment was entered the same day. And then again, it's the same day. So
I'm just looking like. You saying no blatant typos? I mean, I'm looking at a typo. He appeared for an arraignment, blah, 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 blah. Trial began and judgment was entered the same day. like it's just choppy the way it's written. Like I'm following a sentence filed a timely notice. I don't. Is that okay? You know, I was just about to say that. Is that true? I was gonna say I don't think his lawyer wrote this. I don't think his lawyer wrote this. Huh. You guys know what to do. Get that clown out of here. David, welcome, sir. Welcome, sir. Yeah, that makes so much more sense because I'm just looking at this. This does not look like something an attorney would write.
I don't know why he has to repeat the date. 180, again, the number in parentheses. Following sentencing on March 19, he filed a timely notice of appeal without really saying the actual date of filing the appeal. So I just decided, rather than this long warm up, I want to give somebody an overview. If you got a 31-page brief, tell them what they're about to look at. Now, this is just very minimal. I would have added more to this, including what are the major issues on appeal, which is required under the appellate rules. So again, this is just a first draft for me. Jose DeCastro, appellant or DeCastro, was convicted on March 19th of 2 misdemeanors in the sections before Honorable Judge E. Zimmerman in Department 8 of the Clark County Justice Course. Appellant, a prolific YouTuber who films police officers in search of potential human rights violations, was tried without a jury. Judge Zimmerman, who sought input from the district attorney regarding sentencing, ignored the people's suggestion of a suspended 90-day jail sentence and instead sentenced the appellant to consecutive terms of 90 days each. Both Judge Zimmerman and Judge Michelle Levitt denied appellant's motions for release on bail pending the outcome of the appeal. In appealing the convictions, jurisdiction arises under Rules 3CA of the Nevada Rules of Appellate Procedure. The rules lawyers like using defined terms. The appellant brings this fast-track appeal under Rule 3CE. The notice of appeal was filed on March 26, and the opening brief was timely filed on May 6, pursuant to Rule 26. Trial lasted less than a few hours. Only the appellant and police officer Brandon Bork testified. Aside from live testimony, the lone exhibit admitted into evidence consisted of a truncated videotape of body cam footage lasting approximately 12 minutes.
You know what I think about that right there? That was simplistic, it was clear, and it was to the point. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the difference between a legal document written by an actual attorney and a document written by a constitutional law scholar, a self-proclaimed constitutional law scholar.
You can add to that, obviously, but wouldn't you really know what's going on if you're the justice looking at this? Oh, okay, got it. Now your brain is starting to wrap around what is about to happen. Then I would follow with statement of issues on appeal. So here's the historic stuff on this. He's been employed with approximately eight years. So what? At approximately conducted a vehicle stop on a Hyundai. Vehicle was pulled over in a Target. I like how Target is not capitalized. Officer Bork was dressed in his uniform and was driving a clearly marked black and white Las Vegas Metropolitan.
I'm sorry, guys. I looked away. I didn't realize my camera was zoomed in. Sorry, guys. We'll go back and watch again.
Body cam footage lasting approximately 12 minutes. Now you can add to that, obviously, but wouldn't you really know what's going on if you're the justice looking at this? Oh, okay, got it. Now your brain is starting to wrap around what is about to happen. Then I would follow with statement of issues on appeal. So here's the historic stuff on this. He's been employed with approximately eight years. So what? At approximately conducted a vehicle stop on a Hyundai. Vehicle was pulled over in a Target. I like how Target is not capitalized. Officer Bork was dressed in his uniform and was driving a clearly marked black and white Las Vegas Metropolitan official vehicle.
So I'm just looking at that. My question is, why does that matter? Why does it matter he was dressed in his uniform and the vehicle he was driving? It's like drawing out facts that, quite frankly, a judge does not care about. Statement of the facts. Get to the point. Get to the point of the argument. Now, yes, you are to state what actually took place. But again, the rules state for Nevada, and I believe the this attorney is going to mention it, but 16 pages. This is a 31-page brief. You're just adding extra stuff.
How about just saying Officer Bork was in a squad car when he approached DeCastro?
And look, I'm not a lawyer, but I don't even think that's necessary. You can say Officer Bork was on duty, engaging in a traffic stop with a female in a vehicle who was cooperative and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. That's my interpretation.
You don't have to say was, but you get the idea. Look how many words you just saved. Then he writes this: the sole occupant of the vehicle was a female who was cooperative and provided a picture of her license on her phone. Well, he just transitioned from this to this. So is he saying that Officer Bork was a female? Officer Bork was dressed in his uniform and was driving.
That's true. That is true. Officer Bork was dressed in a marked black, white police officer vehicle. The sole occupant of the vehicle. What vehicle? What is he talking about? Look, in law, you have to be clear. In law, you have to be clear and specific. That is such a vague statement. That's so stupid. Hey, and you know what I'll even say? So what? What if he was? What relevance does that have to this case? It has none.
Now it switches to a female from his, but says the sole occupant of the vehicle was a female. This really belongs up here. He's talking about the vehicle that was pulled over. That's kind of funny if you ask me. During the vehicle stop, Mr. DeCastro, a member of the press. Now, you know, this again.
It's again a self-proclaimed member of the press. Self-proclaimed.
They love to emphasize this press thing. Okay, fine. He owns a YouTube channel. I don't think he owns it because I don't think you own anything on YouTube, but you might have a license to use it. Police activities because he believes police misconduct is an epidemic in the country. Right. Then you'll see that a lot of this stuff begins with his name or the other person's name, and it becomes more of a cadence, you know, the number followed by the number in parentheses. However, I call these sentence interrupters. There's also, I think, lack of punctuation here. Normally there would be a colon and then it would explain it. Unfortunately, trial counsel, now I think it pained Orem to mention Michael Mee by name. In fact, he doesn't mention him by name at all. And then uses a footnote to say, I'm not trial counsel. And it gets even more hilarious because if you look at the notice of appeal that was filed, Michael Mee's name is on it. So I think they have something to answer for. He admitted that Mr. Castro backed up, but he did not substantially back up. However, he also said he did not back up. The video demonstrates that the officer is clearly wrong. See,
and he stated again that word clearly. See, he has the text up. Well, he'll probably mention it, but saying that demonstrate the officer is clearly wrong. That warrants an opinion. Again, that's not used in any type of legal document. Because what you're writing is supposed to be fact or stating the law, not an opinion. Only judges get to put out opinions or an opinion or their interpretation of the law. I don't see an actual attorney using the word clearly wrong in any type of legal document. In college, you have to be clear and specific, not specific to law. Absolutely. I'm talking about law. One, that's my field, and that's where this attorney is coming from. But if you're in healthcare, if you're in any other type of field, you have to be clear and specific. Exposes CHILLE.
this is a conclusion that needs to be elaborated more. And this is a false statement, I think. DeCastro asked the driver if she was okay. He did say that and did not make any further comments. But he did. He mentioned, I remember seeing that he talked to her twice. To back up on several occasions, but never stated how far. That's true. Claiming he had no opportunity because that's true. Obviously, see, you want to avoid these obviously, clearly. The officer admitted he observed no weapons on Mr. DeCastro, holding two cell phones.
That's another word that creates an opinion. Obviously. Obvious. And the text that's put on this stream is so essential. If everything is obvious, then what's the point of an appeal? Obviously, the officer admitted that he observed no weapons on Mr. DeCastro because Mr. DeCastro was holding two cell phones in each hand. That is not a good argument. Again, obviously. Do not use the word obviously in a document that is supposed to be stating law or fact. Do not use the word obviously because, again, you're telling the judge how to think and you are stating an opinion. It might be obvious to Chile because that's just Chile's mindset, but that doesn't mean that it's factual.
He says, go get in your car, little doggy, but he leaves out the part. I think DeCastro said something like, why don't you write your effing ticket? Go back in your car and write your effing ticket. That's significant. If I was the people, I would play up on that. Say, wait a minute, why are you leaving that part out? You don't want to make him look too vile. There's also repetitive error here in the quotation and the period. I don't do that. You usually see 2 space separation between the periods. Having decided to let the motorist go, instead concentrate below. Why would you say that the officer had irrational fear when he said on the stand and he wasn't afraid of anything? In fact, he said that DeCastro wasn't a threat. Why would you put that in there? Doesn't that kind of contradict?
Hold on. DeCastro believed he was complying with the officer's command. He backed out when the officer told him to do so, as the officer admitted. Then the officer aggressively grabbed. Okay, so aggressively, I mean, that's an opinion, but still, I mean, that's up for interpretation. I guess that's okay. During him, he was detained. He then escorted, blah, 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 35 feet. Okay, the footage is not necessary. DeCastro admitted at first he refused. Yeah, that's silly. So he admitted that at first he refused, but then complied when the officer grabbed him. He also testified he was a member of the press on numerous occasions, that he made no physical effort. See, yeah, that's worded weird. Mr. DeCastro testified that he stated he was a member of the press on numerous occasions, period. That he made no effort to physically swat at the officer or resist, period. What? That's not a sentence.
What?
Oops. Mr. DeCastro, I think from the officer's testimony, we can see he's scared of the driver, scared of me, scared of everything. So, and I think someone said earlier that Chile's attorney is now arguing that, oh, the officer was flirting with the lady in the car. But Chile's own words refute that argument by saying that the officer is scared of the driver. I mean, that's interesting right there. If Chile's attorney is really going to go into court and make that argument, saying that, oh, the officer was flirting with the woman in the car, prosecution needs to hop up and say, well, wait a minute now. In their own brief that was filed, Chile even testified that he was afraid of the driver. I just think it's just, inconsistencies. No way a lawyer wrote this. Someone said that earlier, Blackheart Night. Someone had just left that in. That's what his lawyer's arguing now. Hold on. Yeah, Mr. Thomas. Yeah, Rob. That's what he says. Nothing. The officer might have been flirting with a female in the car. So look, it doesn't make any sense.
The cop said his testimony concerning officers' safety belied. You don't want to use words like belied. Try to keep the words simple. Then it says the officer is clearly agitated and frustrated and does not appear fearful in any manner. Yeah, he's aggressive, as depicted in the video. And again, these pronoun references are problematic. I mean, you can figure it out, but it's not really clear writing because you're mentioning DeCastro and the cop, and then you say he. How about just cutting this down? You could say something like, the officer testified at trial he was not fearful of DeCastro. The officer testified to technique utilized in the police academy where an attacker can reach a police officer within 21 feet under certain circumstances. That's right, the 21-foot rule. Now, I also know of a 21-foot rule. If you had 21, I can't help myself, foot-long subways, you've got the 21-foot rule. There's the therefore again. The officer concluded that he has some type of imaginary legal rule. See, that kind
of imaginary legal rule. Imaginary legal rule. He just said, it's brief. The officer concluded he had some type of imaginary legal rule that permits him to arrest citizen members of the press that have the audacity to. Oh my God. Someone said in the comments earlier, Chile clearly wrote this and is trying to be as condescending as possible to the officer when this is not legally how you write documents. I draft legal documentation on a daily basis. If I were to say that opposing counsel has some imaginary legal rule that blah, 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 and has the audacity to blah, 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 I would be reprimanded by my boss. Oh my goodness.
The language does not fit very well in appellate briefs because it's sarcastic. This was presented as a valid piece of evidence by the state without regard to any legal authority. Well, it got admitted into evidence, so you need to talk about that. Arbitrary and capricious is an unconstitutionality standard. Be careful when you say that. You better really know what you're talking about. Additionally, officer seems confused as motives for the arrest. If you're saying it seems confused, then you're not saying anything with authority, which means that tie goes to the runner. As can.
Hold on, that's big. The officer seemed confused. Again, there is no. That's not stating a fact. That is stating an opinion. The officer seemed confused. Take the word seemed out. The officer was confused. The officer's actions indicate that he was confused. I'm not talking about the fact that he's accusing the officer of being confused. It's that word seemed. That's not good in legal writing. Legal writing, you're trying to lay out your case. By using the word seemed, it leaves it up to possibility. Again, no way a lawyer wrote this.
Say anything with authority, which means that tie goes to the runner, as can be easily depicted, and then there's easily again. And now he goes into George.
Okay, I want to listen to this take on George Floyd, but I have to say it again. As can be easily depicted from the video. Easily. That is not good. It warrants an opinion. Am I clear by that? Am I making sense when I keep saying that? You can't say as can be easily depicted from a video, blah, blah, blah. The officer can easily be compared. No. Take out can be easily. You can say, as depicted from the video, the distance between Mr. DeCastro and the officer can be compared to the infamous blah, 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 whatever. That is so much more of an affirmative argument versus saying that the officer can easily be compared, can be easily depicted from the video. Because again, it might not be easy to a judge. A judge might say, well, first of all, I don't find this easy in any way, shape, or form. You know? So I wouldn't use can be easily or easily in any, that's just terrible, terrible legal writing.
George Floyd, which is from a different district, and now I get the perception, this is just me, I don't have any proof of this. This sounds like something Chile wanted Orem to put into the brief. I think it's completely out of bounds. First of all, wrong district. Secondly, nobody died. And in fact, the whole premise of what Chile was saying at trial was, what's the big deal? You know, what did I really do other than piss off a cop and try to film? That's what he's saying. But now he's trying to compare it to some civil rights abuse where someone died. So you got to be careful not to cloud the record with stuff that makes the judges wonder, wait, what am I missing here? Why are we even talking about this? Would the state of Nevada prefer that the state of Minnesota and the federal government prosecute the filmers of George Floyd and perhaps suppress the evidence? This would be what we call.
Wait. I gotta read that again. I'm sorry, guys. You guys probably just want to watch this straight through. This is my first time seeing this, but I don't. Would the state of Nevada prefer that the state of Minnesota and the federal government prosecute the filmers of the George Floyd murder and perhaps suppress? That is, first of all, this is a brief. You don't ask those type of rhetorical or those type of questions in a what? You guys like talking about, oh, let's break will. People think it's laughing. This is breaking my brain right now. Why would you put this type of question in a brief for your argument, which is fully speculation? It's irrelevant, quite frankly, to the argument that he's trying to make. And if anything, it's almost like he's trying to be smart with the judge. I mean, and then he goes on to say, in order to sustain a conviction here, this is what the state of Nevada is arguing. Neither the federal government nor the state of Minnesota had any ridiculous notion. Oh, we'll see. That's not good. Don't you? This is my point with CHILLE. What? I did a video on the whole fiasco. And what was the first thing that I said? I said, when you have documentation that a judge has to rule on, do not piss off the judge. Why are you then stating in essence that anything the state of Nevada has filed is ridiculous? Any ridiculous notion. And then goes on to say imaginary 21-foot rule. CHILLE absolutely wrote this. CHILLE absolutely wrote this. CHILLE absolutely wrote this, and that's malpractice if his attorney filed this. I'm gonna let the. I'm sorry, guys, because I'm going through this live. I saw a little bit of this video, but I'm just actually seeing all this, and this is just absolutely ludicrous.
In Nevada, prefer that the state of Minnesota and the federal government prosecute the filmers of George Floyd and perhaps suppress the evidence. This would be what we call a rhetorical question. I have never seen the state of Nevada ever question the state of Minnesota, and I've never seen the federal authorities also be joined in questioning by the state of Nevada. And this really doesn't, this is a bad analogy. Okay, maybe, I don't know. I feel like this was CHILLE's part in this brief. Neither the federal government or the state had any ridiculous notion. See, again, this is inflammatory language, and it doesn't usually work very well in appeal.
That's a good word. That's a good word. Inflammatory. Yeah, that's all this is. I wonder. So here's the thing. The prosecution can bring this up and put his attorney on the stand and ask him under oath if he was the one that wrote this brief or if CHILLE did. If it comes out that CHILLE wrote this brief and his attorney just typed it up and filed it, yes, he could get sanctioned for this. Or the prosecution could file a motion for sanctions against this lawyer by the way he's been carrying himself for the last number of months.
Additionally, so kind of sounds kind of too informal for an appellate brief, did not capture police brutality against the motorist, he must be guilty. Although in federal court, Mr. DeCastro will be able to bring a federal lawsuit against the officer for his brutal treatment when Officer Bork grabbed Mr. DeCastro during the unlawful arrest and violation of the first, 4th, and 14 minutes. I can't even say this without running out of breath.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, guys. I should have watched this beforehand so I could like talk to myself and Because DeCastro did not capture police brutality against the motorists, he must be guilty. Although in federal court, CHILLE will be able to bring a federal lawsuit against the officer for his brutal treatment. First of all, you have to get a judge to agree with you that the treatment was brutal. But CHILLE rebutted this when he earlier stated that initially he did not comply with the officer, and then once the officer lawfully used force to detain CHILLE, then he complied. So what lawsuit? What lawsuit? Now, unlawful arrest in violation of his first. We know why his first. How was his Fourth Amendment violated? Can someone explain to me how his Fourth Amendment was violated? No, he can't. Right. It's his own case. It's his own case, so he wouldn't be charged with that. If it's his own case, then yes, he has the right to represent himself. So he wouldn't be charged with that. No, Rob, that's not how it works. If he was if he was representing the lawyer, or if he was writing this for someone else, then yes. But it's his own case. However, if they were to try and go at him, they could then fire his attorney. Doesn't matter. It's a stretch, right? I'll put it like that. It's a stretch. It's definitely a stretch to assume that charge could be easily brought up because, again, it is his own case. But I'm sorry, I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to read this. How is his Fourth Amendment rights violated? And then he said if he had captured the police brutality toward the motorists and was covered over mainstream press, Mr. DeCastro would be named the hero, would not have been found guilty of the allegations. He keeps mixing the fact, he keeps saying that filming was the reason why he was arrested. Just like for public safety the other night, just twisting what actually was taking place. He was not arrested for filming. He was arrested for obstructing the police. Him capturing the quote-unquote police brutality has nothing to do with that. The facts of the case were he interfered with the officer that was lawfully engaging in a traffic stop. And again, arbitrary and capricious, not good language to use in a brief. If you're gonna use that language, better be able to back it up.
You need to break the sentences down. They need to be clear. And this just sounds like an argumentative statement that is, again, not something I would put in an appellate brief. We have another sentence interrupter. Alternatively, if he had captured police brutality towards the motorists and was covered all over the mainstream press, Mr. Castro would be named a hero. I think you'd probably put that in quotes. It would not have been found guilty of the allegations. I don't know that that's true because, remember, you're trying to overcome the standard of proof, which is beyond a reasonable doubt. The highest standard we have, even higher than clear and convincing evidence. This is not doing this. It never seemed to occur to defense counsel, the prosecutor, nor the trial court. When you start taking pot shots at a trial judge, be careful, because the general rule would be is that when you're chopping up a judge and showing this disrespect, the appellate courts could say, they could recoil on that, and they would say, you must not have any other real arguments here. If all you want to do, one of the things you want to do is basically besmirch the reputation of the judge.
Again, do not piss off the judge. Now, I want to just read this without it because he puts text up, and I'm trying to just read. Here we go. But he says, it never seemed to occur to defense counsel, the prosecution, nor the trial judge that and there you go, using this term imaginary, That's not smart. Do not use the word imaginary. That's not good in legal writing. Would have caused prosecution of the bystanders filming during the murder of Mr. Floyd. It seemed to go over everyone's head. Again, this attorney put it perfectly. At this point, he's just being condescending to everyone. And again, this is the point. He's arguing something that was not argued at trial. The case was never about him filming. There's no way this brief actually works. No way.
When you start taking pot shots at a trial judge, be careful, because the general rule would be is that when you're chopping up a judge and showing this disrespect, the appellate courts could say, they could recoil on that, and they would say, you must not have any other real arguments here. If all you want to do, one of the things you want to do is basically besmirch the reputation of the judge. You have to take it in a very tactful and respectful way. And if you say it never seemed to occur, and I don't like starting with indefinite pronouns, it never seemed to occur, would have caused prosecution of the bystanders filming during the murder of Mr. Floyd. I can tell you for a fact that I don't think that ever came up as something that anyone was even thinking about, because the parallel is ridiculous, to use the word that he used in the brief. So we have another it and another it, and it seemed to go over everyone's head. That's going to be underlined by a justice or a judge that's reading this appellate brief. It's going to be underlined. Here we get to additionally, a question of concern must be addressed. Well, why wouldn't you address it? Why would you need to label it that way? If Mr. DeCastro was an African-American and the driver of the vehicle was an African-American female, would the state have prosecuted this case? Oh, okay. So now we're going to take this from this simple traffic stop to now turning it into a parallel to a murder case and racism. Last I checked, nothing discussed about race.
Oh, what an assault. Oh, what an assault. Oh, what an assault.
I don't. I'm sorry, guys. I don't get it. How chilly? That argument.
Oh, what an assault.
That argument. He's now bringing race into this. So, in essence, you're saying that if a person of color was inserted in this situation, the state would not have prosecuted this case. That's insulting to the state, to the judge. And these will be questions for the courts for a federal review. And technically, wouldn't it be the other way around for this argument to work out? Wouldn't you have, if CHILLE was a person of color, wouldn't then the argument be, oh, what if I wasn't a person of color? I'm so I don't know, guys. I'm just seeing. I'm sorry, Glenn, for $2. Thank you for the donation. Well, this is a typical mind of a narcissist. I mean, to make an argument like that, and again, thank you for the $2. To make an argument like that, goodness.
In the trial. So now you're not citing to anything that's in the record of the trial. And the rules generally prohibit that. You want it to be clear and focused. Hey, the statutes say this. It's so unfocused. And I think that CHILLE is behind this. I don't think that Orrin would have put this stuff in there. DeCastro's evictions must be reversed based on violations of the First Amendment. Okay, we're finally at page 10 getting to it.
Right, because so with a brief, and if I misquote this, forgive me, it's venue, facts, argument. That's kind of like the layout. Venue, it's like where it takes place. Facts of any type of brief should not be 8 or 9 pages. It's not necessary. Because here's the thing. Notice, this is where the legal arguments are supposed to be made. CHILLE makes numerous legal arguments throughout the portion of the brief that was simply supposed to be him naming facts of what actually took place. No lawyer would do that.
Hey, the statutes say would have put this stuff in there. DeCastro's evictions must be reversed based on violations of the First Amendment. Okay, we're finally at page 10 getting to it. The issue before this court is whether DeCastro had a constitutional right pursuant to film. Of course he has that right. That's not really framing the question.
There is what this is like. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. To me, I'm not a judge, but after reading this sentence, I would have denied the motion. I would have, this would have been the damning evidence right here. The issue before this court is whether Mr. DeCastro had a constitutional right pursuant to the First Amendment to the United States Constitution to film a police officer while officers are conducting a minor traffic stop. That is not the issue. Am I guys, do I not am I not understanding this correctly? Am I in the wrong? Is this about another case? Like, is this case about him filming? Or was it about the fact that he interfered with the police officer? Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Bear with me. Let's have a look at the video of the charges and notice what the judge says about the reason for her ruling.
The safety of the officer and the safety of the driver. The officer doesn't know who you are, and the driver doesn't know who you are. And you don't have any right to interfere with that officer doing his investigation and deciding if he wants to issue a ticket to this driver. And you also don't have any business approaching the driver. The driver didn't ask you for help. The driver didn't say, help, help. You know, you didn't see an altercation happening between the officer and this driver. The officer didn't protest that you were filming. There's no problem with filming. You can film. It's fine. All right? But you did interfere with his investigation. You did interfere with his ability to do his job. You did put him in a position where he is concerned for his safety and the safety of the driver. So I believe the state's met their burden beyond reasonable doubt. I'm going to find you guilty of obstructing a public officer and resisting a public officer.
So explain to me then why CHILLE is now saying that the issue before the court is whether or not he had a constitutional right pursuant to the First Amendment to film the police. This is here's the thing. If his lawyer actually did put this together for CHILLE, this is malpractice. Because a coffee boy that works in a law firm as an intern, as they were saying for public safety chat, if I can see that the issue that's stated in this brief is not the issue of the case, that is malpractice. If the attorney could not even recognize this.
While the police officer is conducting a minor traffic, of course they do. You could film the cops. No one said you couldn't. The cop admitted that. So why are you saying that's the issue? Even the judge said that's not the issue. To affirm these convictions, this court would have to determine Mr. DeCastro, a member of the press, member of the public, when is the press not a member of the public? Does not have the right to film a police officer conducting his ordinary daily duties. This statement makes no sense to me.
This legal rationale would violate clearly and historically.
This legal rationale would violate clearly and historically established. Of course, there's no citations to the cases that say this. This is just argument. Remember, argument is not evidence. The court has provided important dicta. Dicta means that that's not what the case was about. I can't remember even citing to one law review article, because most law review articles, it's like, so what? And right now you need to persuade her that beyond a reasonable doubt, this conviction needs to be overturned, or there's such a serious error that it affected the outcome. That's where her mind is right now. In fact, and nope, you could eliminate these words. At no point in the trial or pre-trial proceedings, you could just say at no time during the history of this case was a single legal authority cited regarding the most fundamental rights guaranteed to the public and the precedent of the First Amendment. Great.
Here he goes again. Constitutional right to film public officers. Oh my God. My God. This is breaking me right now, guys. This is like pulling teeth.
Great. I'm glad you just said that. Now, is this invited error? Now here we go to Glick, a case that is in the First Circuit, not the Ninth Circuit. That's a big problem because you need to find the cases that are within our.
And a lot of people do this when they quote case law. They quote cases from different jurisdictions, different states, different regulations that, quite frankly, do not apply to the situation. The wording can be perfect, but if it's not in the correct jurisdiction, it doesn't apply.
District, not somewhere else, unless there are no cases in our district. And then they cited Glick forever and ever, and they went into a lot of trouble to cite to Glick. And again, these would normally be quotation marks. This part's a little bit hilarious here. This is the internal pagination reference to the case itself, because you need to take that part out. They're actually referring to both counts, so it would be counts 1 and 2. These are all conclusory statements. I would have expected a much more in-depth analysis. Once again, no Nevada authority. This is going to be a tough argument. You notice nowhere in here he's referring to DeCastro as a constitutional law scholar. He said that on the stand. Now, I've been saying that once you decide to give yourself that name, you have opened the door to a heightened level of awareness and knowledge of the laws. So interestingly, they've decided to do away with the constitutional law scholar designation because I think they realize that it's a problem for him. Vague and ambiguous. Well, it is obvious that there is no 21-foot.
It is obvious. Mr. DeCastro never attempted to physically interfere with the police officer's ability to write a ticket. Yes, he did. Dude, I really should. I really should. Listen, I think the prosecution should file a motion for sanctions against his attorney. And then put him on the stand and ask him point blank, did you draft this document? Because either one of two things. Either this attorney is incompetent and should be fired by the court. There's no way an attorney would say it is obvious there is no 21-foot rule. No lawyer in their right mind would say that.
Foot rule, again with the quotations, then the period. Obviously, there's more obviously, walk within 21 feet of the police in their vehicle, but I think this is misstating what the cop said. He didn't say it's always 21 feet. Yeah, he never attempted to physically interfere, but under the Wilson decision, you don't have to physically interfere to be busted for obstruction. His state and federal constitutional rights when his trial was presided over by a judge with prejudice. This is really, no way. This to me is just not the right approach.
Whoa. He's an. Hold on. Lady friend can wait. He is right now accusing the judge of being biased. I said bias. I'm sorry. Bias and prejudice against him. The judge chastised him because he wasn't complying with her rules in the courtroom. This is bad. This is bad. Let me let it play on.
No way. This to me is just not the right approach. I rarely see appellate briefs that tear into a judge like this. You could say that the judge got it wrong in a very diplomatic way. You could say the court failed to apply this reasoning. You don't mention the judge by name. You say the court, the factors the court weighed should have included this. People are fine with that. But now you're saying that the judge was prejudiced. Well, you never argued that she was prejudicial towards you during the trial. You didn't argue that during the pretrial hearings. You didn't move to disqualify the judge. It's called a 170.6 out here in California. So now what? You wait till you get the verdict, the decision you don't like, and now you claim it? I like the extra period here. That helps emphasize that you need to stop your thought again. The trial court then orders Mr. DeCastro to empty all his pockets. Walk right into a courtroom. You have already surrendered those rights. It says here that the trial court noted your reference to her Marshall as a pig. She did, but Zimmerman did not say that was the reason for the sentence. It was the videotape. Remember, Orem was at the bail motion hearing where she said that. So this is a little bit misleading, if you ask me. It's not really that accurate. The legal standard actual bias, unless it's got copied wrong when I converted it, once again, it's not a complete sentence. She didn't have any stake in the outcome or become embroiled in the battle. Well, if you're going to say she's embroiled in the battle, actually, she did not cite him in contempt and gave him mid-range sentences. The trial court should have disqualified herself based upon implied bias. I don't think that that's bias at all. If you want to mouth off to a judge, if I did, I would be facing the same predicament. So now,
I love how he's saying that the judge was biased. But hold on. Let's go back to that very same judge in his appeal hearing, where he was appealing the conviction, conviction. Have a look at the judge's response to the charges that she brought upon him, or to the ruling of the charges. Let's just have a look. Watch this, guys.
Been posted since you've been incarcerated.
I'm in a murder trial, so I had a chance.
So he's going to apologize to me in a minute, but that's not what he's saying on what he's publishing online in his phone calls from the jail.
That's right, guys. Chille is that much of an idiot that he doesn't realize that his phone calls are being recorded in jail while he spews all this hate and nonsense about the process and doesn't seem
sympathy. They don't have sympathy. They are told to do something.
Sure, situations where he get arrested.
Your Honor, I recognize that's what he was sort of doing for a
liquors.
That's not what I sentenced. Acceptable. Second, giving them
under reason arrested, made it clear. I'm sorry, guys. This is it right here. Listen clearly to if Chille's argument is that the judge was biased in her sentencing, she refuted that statement or that concept in its face right here. Clear again, he was not arrested for filming crime of obstruction.
I could have given him 180 days on each count and ran it consecutive for a year in jail, but I didn't. And his behavior was unacceptable in court, but that's not what I sentenced him for. I did not sentence him for his behavior in court. I sentenced him for his behavior for the 2 charges that he faced.
Yes, sure.
All right, so your motion is denied.
So explain to me, Chille. Explain to me. Explain to me how the judge was biased towards you and how she demonstrated prejudice against you, demonstrated that she was prejudiced towards you when she just made it clear that you were not sentenced for your behavior in court, that she could have charged you even more. But she didn't. She gave you a lesser charge. You could have been in jail for 360 days, Chille. And quite frankly, because you were pissing off the judge, I'm surprised she didn't give you the max sentence for both counts. But she didn't. She made it very clear on record that she in no way, one, put him in jail for 180 days because of his behavior and because of the fact that he was quote unquote filming. That's such a weak argument to use in an appellate brief when the judge went on record and stated that any type of bias towards his behavior in court is unequivocally false. Let's carry on before I lose my brain even more.
Oh, you're getting into the situation that I really don't like as well. Now you've got Michael Me, and now you're throwing him under the bus. The problem is that I don't know the reasons for it. This isn't the guy's first rodeo, and he's got a lot of significant wins. Let me just say this. If I had a client, and I've had them, who dictates to me how I'm supposed to do my job, I'm going to make mistakes. If you're overbearing, you're now making me think I've got to run things past you, and stuff is moving fast. While he's talking about an exhibit, and I'm thinking about what rule could exclude that exhibit, you're in my ear complaining about the fact that he's a liar. Difficult. I saw Michael Me's body language. He was uncomfortable. His arms were crossed. He just, you know, you're going to say these things. I had a client that did that to me in one of my cases. You're going to bring all this stuff up. And he got mad at me because I didn't want to. It had no relevance. And I was scoring points with the judge. Once I brought it up, the judge said to me, where are you going with this, counsel? The only thing that was evidence that I saw was the videotape. And I mentioned that the videotape could come in just from the sheer testimony of the parties identifying what was happening.
Oh my God. Listen to this. Look at this. Mr. DeCastro received ineffective assistance of trial counsel due to failure of trial counsel to file a pretrial motion dismissing both counts due to violations of free speech and freedom of press. Think about it logically, guys. How could an attorney file a motion to dismiss 2 counts for 2 reasons that were not the reason he was in jail, or he was there? I sound like a broken record. Freedom of speech, freedom of press, neither of them are an issue here. The 2 charges on CHILLE were for resisting and interfering. Again, not because he was filming. But CHILLE keeps bringing that up, and his lawyer didn't write this, guys. I would bet money that his lawyer did not write this, because this is total nonsense.
This is, I think, a real stretch. What he's saying here is that had Michael Mee submitted this briefing to the judge before the trial or at a separate hearing or had a separate motion for it, it would have been sufficient to blow out these 2 claims, almost like summary judgment in a civil case. That's not really true in my book, because I'm reading what you're writing here in this appellate brief, and I haven't been persuaded that you've moved the needle much at all here. I don't think this brief is winning. I kind of selected it in red when I copied it over. Unconstitutionally vague and ambiguous. They have the burden.
Hold on. The video looks like it's over, but I'm just looking at this right here. Mr. DeCastro's trial counsel had a duty to file a pretrial motion to dismiss the vague and unconstitutional statutes. So now the legislation is unconstitutional. The statutes in the law are unconstitutional. Video's over, guys. That was that was that was not what I expected. Wow. That was not what I expected whatsoever. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you guys. CHILLE DeCastro made a fool of himself with that brief. And again, I'm not going to keep repeating myself. He didn't write that. His attorney, I believe, they should file a motion for sanctions, put that attorney on the stand, and ask him if he actually filed this. If he did, if CHILLE's lawyer actually did write this, this attorney actually should have the title of ineffective counsel, not the other lawyers. I need to cool down. I need to. All right, I'm going to step away for a moment, guys. Let's have a look at a real journalist. Oh, I'm sorry. How did Leroy Truth Investigations get up there? He's a real a journalist, right? Right?
I am Leroy Truth for Leroy Truth Investigations, because the truth matters. I am Leroy Truth. I am Leroy Truth for Leroy Truth Investigations with breaking news Mayor Brian P. Stack posted a hit piece on his official government Facebook about me, and then less than an hour later, poof, it's gone. However, some very helpful people inundated me with screenshots of the Facebook post before he took it down. And it was a link to a video on there, and the Facebook post said, and by the way, this is on Mayor Brian Stack's official government public Facebook account. He blocked me from being able to access the official government page. He deleted comments that I had made on that page. Mayor Brian Stack, I know you don't care about the law, being the head of the Judiciary Committee in the New Jersey State Senate and all, but that is breaking the law. You are not allowed to delete comments you don't like. You are not allowed to keep an American from the government Facebook page, because it is in fact not your Facebook page, it is We the People's Facebook page. So I will tell you now, unblock me, grow some, stop being a coward, and stop breaking the law. And I will be filing a complaint on this specifically. You're censoring, attempting to censor an American journalist investigating you.
So the usual, the usual statement. Oh, a journalist investigating a story. Ugh. And notice he's calling the mayor unhinged. But look at his comment section, guys. He's putting the mayor, hold on. My mouse just there. Look, guys, look at this. He's putting the mayor's cell phone number in his comment section. He's threatening to put his personal Facebook account link there. Yet the mayor's the one that's unhinged? And the mayor made it clear. It's important people understand that the harassment that this man has been doing, not just to him, but other people, is unacceptable. I mean, this dude looks unhinged. Look at him. It's absolutely, I know. I know. I know. I know. I know. I know.
Now, what does this special, wise Facebook page post say about me? Now, look, this is from you, Brian. This is your personal post. You posted this. It says, I think it's important that people understand the type of harassment this man has been doing, not just to me, but other citizens of Union City, is unacceptable. The truth is that you can't ever make everyone happy, and some just want to keep progress from happening. I'll do a play-by-play in a minute on this. Just know that I will never stop working for you, Union City. However, I will never work for you if you come to me with allegations of sexual assault like 3 brave women did. And yes, they went to the police, and it was sent to the Hudson County Prosecutor's Office, and it seemed to have died a horrible death, perhaps.
Where's the proof? Pull up the proof. Stop the cap. If you don't have proof, don't bring it up. It's just like Sean Paul Reyes coming up with these random allegations. My sources indicate that you have sexually assaulted someone in the past. Can I comment? Like, he's not a lawyer. This guy is not a lawyer. He's not a lawyer.
There are laws that Governor Murphy passed and signed, or he signed what was passed, that help victims of sexual assaults, Brian, that they are communicated with clearly and timely during the investigation process, Brian. These women have heard nothing. They've never been interviewed, nothing. They have emailed you. They have contacted you multiple times. And in your latest flyer, you have guaranteed, it says in your flyer, I guarantee that I will get back to you if you contact me. Liar.
If you contact him, not if you harass him, annoy him, and come up with frivolous charges. Do people not understand the difference?
You didn't get back to those 3 women begging, pleading for you to help them, to make sure that the alleged sexual assaulter does not assault them again by suspending that person until the investigation is completed. They've been pleading and begging with you, Brian, to stop retaliating, to make sure that there is no more retaliation that is being done allegedly by Alicia Morahone. Allegedly on your direction to try to get them to quit so they'll drop a lawsuit.
Allegedly, meaning there's no factual evidence or factual proof that it's actually taking place. That's wild conjecture.
What's wrong with you, Brian? You'll help anyone from Union City except people who actually really need help. You'll help people who can vote for you. You're a good manipulator, Brian. And I know your mother would be ashamed of you, profoundly ashamed of who you become. That's not the little Brian she knew. Why don't you fire Alicia Morahone if she, in fact, is retaliating against those women? They told me directly, many, many times. They called me crying, out of control, crying because of the hell that they claim Alicia has been putting them through. That needs to stop this moment. Instead, you waste time on creating these stupid Facebook posts in an attempt to, who knows what. Meanwhile, I'm doing the actual work you should be doing.
Again, the word stupid demonstrates it's an opinion. In your opinion, it's stupid, but I'm sorry. Why am I trying to make sense of this? This guy's full. This is nonsense.
I'm trying to protect these women. But no, I know you have a history of threatening women, like with that public audio that went over the police radio where you threatened Orquídea. You don't know my temper, you said. So is that why you're not protecting these women, Brian? Alicia Morahone needs to immediately be fired if, in fact, she has been retaliating against those women. And you need to resign. You need to resign immediately from everything. You have broken the public's trust, and you disgust people. I will continue my investigation, Brian, because bottom line, I don't care about you. Nothing personal. I don't know you. But I do care about the over 1,200 complaints against you.
And maybe 1,100 of them have been filed by you and your people. Like, seriously, dude. Seriously. Seriously.
Allegations of corruption, pay to play, extortion, bribery, direct voter intimidation by you.
I'm sorry. I've had enough, guys. I've dealt with enough stupidity today. Oh my God, guys. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's just these guys want to scream conspiracy and my rights being violated. And it's like, clearly these people are talking out of their behind the entire time. Guys, we gotta call it quits here, guys. I'm sorry. I can't. I have dinner plans with a lady friend in about 3 hours, so it's like I can't be like stumbling into a restaurant and talking to myself. Julie said filming, but it's not filming. It's not the. I can't do that, guys. Timo said yes. No more Leroy. Oh man. All right, guys. Thank you guys for coming. We're premiering at 6 p.m. Eastern tonight, so in about 3.5 hours. So come on back, guys. We have a really good video ready for you guys, a body cam footage video. I'm trying to do more of those, guys, because people say, like frauders, a lot of frauders are being shut down right now. So we're losing frauditor content. But yeah, this is great. I appreciate you guys coming on in this Sunday afternoon. We'll be back tomorrow night streaming. I'm sorry. Well, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. where you are, Patrick. But anyway, guys, everybody enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you guys in a couple hours. And hey, see you guys next time.